Yo, 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 what it is, what it is. It's your boy Norbs, and this is the 10-8 podcast. And yesterday was a big day for women's boxing as we had the Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor press conference face-off. And not only that, it was a lot bigger than that. It was an announcement to the world that MVP will be taking over women's boxing. I'm going to be joining my man Jamel Herring in a few minutes to speak on all of this. But I definitely want to speak to the fans about this. This is what this show's about. We're going to get it rocking. Is the quote going to be going to MVP? We're going to talk about all of that right after this. Oh my God, what's up, y'all? What's up? I'm gonna let everybody start tuning in. I appreciate everyone who's tuning into the show. But yesterday was a very big day in women's boxing as MVP and Netflix announced pretty much, had the press conference of Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor, but it was much larger than that as Jake Paul and MVP and Amanda Serrano have showed that they are very willing and actually show that they are going to be pushing women's boxing into a whole nother level. Now, if you guys recall, the last time Jake was on Netflix was with Mike Tyson, and we all seen what happened with that. 70 million plus views. Amanda Serrano had the biggest viewed fight in women's history for part 2, and also the highest streaming event in I think in the history of boxing, or it could have been whatever. But now there was a big debate at one point, people saying that wasn't Amanda. Regardless, Amanda got 61 million, and we're gonna see Amanda's power at Madison Square Garden Friday, July 11th, when it happens again on Netflix. Top of the morning, my man, always in the building. My man Roland, shouts to you. Share the link, like, subscribe. This is the best boxing show. I'm gonna keep it real. All right, I'm gonna keep it real. Let's make this what it is. Let's match it with the viewership. But make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification button. Let people know what time it is. But we'll be joined by Jamel in a short minute. He's getting off a call, but. This means a lot to women's boxing. They went and signed Alicia Baumgartner, one of the biggest stars in boxing. Amanda's out there for this women's movement. There's no egos. It's like, hey, let's make the best things happen. Let's make the best of the best come together. And it is absolutely fire to see this. And we're watching what's her face? Clarissa Goat Shields now interacting with her, and it kind of feels like she's feeling a little left out. Like, hey, wait a minute, guys, I'm here. But to be honest with you, we're gonna address all that. She wants to be part of the party. She knows what she got to do. Will the GOAT do business with Jake Paul after stating what she stated? We're gonna speak on all of that. There's a lot to talk about today. I'm gonna let the chat continue to come on. Roland Curtis says it's an amazing card. It's all women. Is Jake Paul fighting on the card? Jake Paul is not fighting on the card. I think this is an all-woman card, and I think this card is to prove a point in boxing that women can sell as well as the men. Now, of course, there's going to be a lot of debate about that, but we arguably got one of the greatest, if not the greatest, trilogies to be happening on July 11th. And this is the power move. This is a big power move for Amanda Serrano and MVP, not just Katie Taylor. It's going to show the world and Netflix and that these women can move a card. And again, there's a lot of new women on the card. Shout out to my girl, Chicken is on the card. Sharita's on the card. That's going to be super dope. There's a lot of new women that they're going to begin to showcase. And top rank. MVP continues to sign women, and there are a lot of big women coming out of there. Even outside of MVP, you still got Gabriela Fondora, who is my absolute favorite Will Gabby get in the mix? There's a lot of fight. Leanna Cruz. Is Leanna Cruz going to get in the mix? Is Serena McCoy going to get in the mix? There is a lot of women that are out there that can really make women's boxing great again. And if you really think about it, I mean, it's going to continue to grow. But it is dope to see, you know, all of this coming together. Let me bring my man on. My man in the he brought out the do rag for you. That's what I'm talking about. What's good,
Good, bro.
Jamel?
Everything good, bro.
Yo, yo, like, it's been lit, bro. You seen the press conference today?
Of course.
I missed most of it, but I did get to see a lot of the highlights. But you know, oh shit, to bring more people to the pod. I think you could sign on, or you could just retweet it if you want to do that. Real good. But it's gonna grow. It's gonna grow, and I just tweeted it. Usually we on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it shaken. But I think if you sign in, you can share it to your YouTube channel or whatever you want to do as well.
Yeah.
I see it. But it is kind of dope to see everything that's transpiring right now with the conference. Um, what's funny was we were clipping videos yesterday, right? And
Right.
the video that went crazy was, well, one of them that went crazy was Clarissa Shields responding to the video we put out right yesterday, which was that is she next to get signed? And they're playing nice. They're playing nice. I mean, look at this lovely message from Amanda Serrano. Look, for sure, we'd love to have you in attendance, champ. This is all about the women, and no way can we be about having to go in the no way can we be about it without having to go in attendance. My team will cordially make arrangements. MVP. Oh, it's crazy. My man Greg Hackett in the building. Greg, what up? Um,
What's good, Greg?
that's. I mean, bro, I'm not gonna lie. I don't care what the quote is saying, bro, but she is definitely in tune with it. She's definitely, maybe I'm not gonna say feeling away, but she may be feeling left out. And I mean, dog, he's signing mad females right now. I mean, what you think?
Like I said, man, I spoke my stance on it yesterday. Like like I told you on the side, she inboxed me. You know what I mean?
Oh
She
yeah,
inboxed me about it. It's just with a simple no. So again, it's something deeper. I don't know if it's like someone I've seen people say it may be a personal thing with Amanda, but like you should point out, Amanda, clearly sent out the olive branch, to reach out to her. It may be something with Jake Paul, but again, MVP still put that out, that message that we spoke about yesterday, basically saying, listen, they would love to have her in attendance, and it seemed like everything was fine and on good terms, but I can't call it. Like I said, it's one of the things we might have to bring Clarissa on for that one thing, what I'm saying, to speak on that one. I
listen,
can't speak for sis on that one.
we've all been married, we've all been in relationships. How difficult is it to get a woman to change her mind when she's stubborn on the situation? That's just the
Come on,
fact.
man.
I'm just keeping it real. Like, listen, she can say whatever she wants, right? Like, she can say whatever she wants, but she is definitely into. And I like how Amanda threw in, what having to quote. Because remember, the big issue in the beginning was them calling Amanda Serrano to quote, and then she took offense to that. So Amanda turning around and calling her to quote, I think was really dope to kind of show like, yo, like we both can do this. We both can be the faces of boxing. And I think that's something that she has to consider. You know what I mean? Like, why miss the boat? Why miss this? I mean, Netflix is shelling out bread, bro. Like
Hmm.
I mean, what was it last time? 71 million people tuned into the Tyson Paul fight. 61 million tuned into Amanda versus Katie Taylor. Those
Right.
are numbers that she's never seen. And in this day and age, with the digital imprint, that's how people get paid in boxing and in the world. Period. So I think she's being more stubborn than anything, and doesn't want to look like she's caving into to money. You know what I mean? I seen some comments she made on X earlier, talking about that she has some fights coming and it's gonna be millions. But come on, bro, this is a lot of cash right now. She's never seen. I mean, you think she's gonna change her mind?
Um, maybe not in the near future, but again, like I said, like I always say, money talks. So I can see, I can even see somebody on her end, like her team, trying to convince her like, listen, like this is a good offer or whatever. We should at least entertain it or see what they're saying at the table. But
Yeah.
again, Clarissa's gonna be Clarissa. She's gonna do what she wants to do, and it just is what it is. But as long as she keeping her name out there, and as you can see, you got Amanda and everyone else reaching out to her. It still keeps you know what I'm saying the her name relevant to that level. You know what I mean, and to be out there on that type of platform. So as long as it's interest, that's all that really matters because her name still it stays out there. I mean, look at us right now. We're still talking about her now, even though she clearly said no.
I'll tell you this right now. She's gonna show up, right? And I think the courting process has already began. I think she's gonna meet with Amanda first before Jake, then Jake. That's what I believe. And I think the court, like just the comments that you see online and everything, if they were able to get Clarissa Shields in the fold, at least to entertain working with them, coincide. Because I like, and I'm gonna play this Alicia Bumgarner thing real quick. Alicia was like she signed because they gave her a voice. That's something that Clarissa wants in boxing, and she wants to push the women's movement out there. She wants more credit as a fighter. You know what I mean? So I think that's going to be something that's going to draw her in. But she's going to be at that event, bro. And the
And,
courting is
and,
smart.
and let me just say some shout out to Alicia Baumgartner because she hit me up a few months ago about this situation. And just basically asking me for my opinion. And I was telling Alicia, like, listen, I feel like it's you should same thing out with Clarissa. If they're offering anything or if they're entertaining the idea of bringing you on, I think you should sit at the table because, at that point, Alicia's come up the whole big thing with the suspension and inactivity.
Yeah,
So I was saying, and we was basically breaking down pretty much who are the best platforms for women's boxing right now. And I said, listen, because like I mentioned with Christine last night, me and my boy JC had got a call months ago before any of this basically started going down. Pretty much when they was asking us about working with the fighter we had at the time, Micaiah Krebs and some others. And I was saying, like, listen, I think it's a good movement. I think it's a good movement for women, especially after we seen how Jake and them were treating Amanda. I told Alicia, said for her and her team to basically entertain the idea, sit down with them, and go from there and see what's up. And here we are today, and I'm happy for her. So shout out to Alicia Bumgarner.
yeah. I mean, sometimes you got to put your pride aside, bro. It just makes more sense. I mean, and a lot of the stuff is just words online, like
Right.
just pride, and and a lot of it is self-inflicted as well. Listen, we all know there's two main faces of women's boxing, maybe three, right? Alicia being the third face, right now. We got Amanda, of course. We have Clarissa. I think Gabby's going to be the next one coming up as a
You
young.
got, you got, you got, you still got to include Katie in there too.
I mean,
Like,
Katie. I mean, but
Katie can bring her following.
no fact. But the main people bring up is the GOAT and the other GOAT, right? Which is Amanda Serrano. So I feel like it's a power move, and I think Jake's gonna put it. I think Jake's gonna put an offer in that's gonna make her feel like a CEO and put her in position to make way more money than if she's just gonna fight independently. Because I don't think there's a lot of fighters out there, and I find this interesting. Check this out. This is what Alicia had to say.
Main reason, main decision
That's
for
fine.
signing with them?
My main decision was being respected, being valued, having a voice. I'm not just a fighter under a roster. I'm a pioneer for the sport of boxing. And they saw my vision and I love that and they got to hear me out. And this is the biggest turning point of my career. You're gonna see amazing fights. You're gonna see the most of Alicia, the Baumgartner, and MVP is gonna put that on the biggest stage.
In terms of Amanda, you mentioned, we will see. Is that the same for Clarissa, or is that when ship sailed already?
What's the question?
In terms of you and
Clarissa
maybe-
Shields?
Yeah.
I think Clarissa Shields is walking around like at 190 right now, right?
Totally out of the question.
Yeah.
And Alicia's walking around at 132, 133. So if Clarissa Shields wants the biggest payday of her life, she's gonna have to figure out how to get to a weight class that makes sense for Alicia Baumgartner, right? That's just the reality of it. MVP puts on the biggest events for women in boxing, not what she does. So if she wants to have that opportunity against this champion, she's got to make the effort.
Kevin Garcia with Fight Hype. Alicia, two questions for you. So the first one, I just spoke to Jake and Amanda. They were next to each other. And I said,
I mean, listening to what was said right there, what was your take on that?
I mean, we got weight classes for a reason. But I think Clarissa, I think I seen that last night. I think Clarissa had responded to a tweet or something to that effect about 190 or something like that. I think she said she's 170, whatever it may be. But again, weight is always going to be the issue. Weight is going to be the issue not only between the fighters but with the commissions as well in any state.
Mhm.
So like I said, like for me with Clarissa, it's like this. If you look at it in women's boxing, there's not too many, high level names where she's at. You know what I mean? So she basically has to take what she has at those weight classes. And then when she does take the opponent at times, as you see with her last opponent, she gets criticized for it. So, sometimes you gotta give up things, you gotta give up some ground a bit to basically still in the end get what you want. You know what I mean? So that's what compromise is all about. But again, I'm not even really entertaining that any like looking at that fight anymore because again, it's just they'll never. It seems like they'll never agree on weight. Even if they agree on weight, I take it that it's a woman thing. Like they both they both don't they're not giving up any ground to the others. I think it's for like that personal beef is a real beef. Like I think it's bigger than just boxing. Like I think one doesn't want to give up ground to the other. Both sides think they're the A side, of course, and so forth. I mean, you heard what he said. He feels like this will be, Clarissa Shields' biggest payday. So of course, they feel like they have the upper ground in terms of that going into with that fight. So
Yeah.
I can't really entertain. Like I said, you can't. I can't really even put any more emphasis about that matchup because, like I said, Alicia is a super featherweight. Clarissa is a heavyweight champion of the world. But they're both champions. But again, two far separate weight classes. So it is what it is.
I took a couple things out of that. One, you know, Alicia has another big fight on the table, right, already, which is Amanda Serrano, which we all know if that's it, it's probably in the makings now. They're not going to show their hand. So Alicia got options that are going to be huge paydays, probably upwards of 10 million or more, right? Already.
Of course, she's not gonna show her hand. You didn't catch. I know. I don't know if you caught on during the press conference when they asked her about it, and she didn't speak. She didn't speak much on it. You know what I mean? When she was asked by one of the reporters asked her, since she's in the same stable with Amanda Serrano, if that's a possibility now, and
Yeah.
she kept it subtle. She kept it professional, and she just basically said, "This is boxing. Anything can happen." So that right there said enough for me.
Listen, we all know it's happening. We all know that's going to happen. That's going to be major. And then listen, you're a fighter. You know how hard is it to cut weight, right? But also, you know how hard is it to get a big fight. And Clarissa is in a position to get to the big fight. Is 7 pounds, because she did say she's comfortable going to 154. At one point, they said they could meet at 147. Is that 7 pounds that big of a difference to not make that fight happen, though?
Hell yeah. I mean, listen, there are guys it's crazy. Like, how can I put it? In terms like any fighter can tell you, just cutting weight alone. You got some guys that can make it easily. You got some guys that struggle with making weight.
Yeah,
Sometimes people look at a fighter and if they're overweight by 2 or 4 ounces, they think that the fighter was lazy and just couldn't do it. At times, there are times, yes, that may be the truth, but there may be at times where that fighter may have really, really came down from a higher weight class and struggled to basically get to that weight point, and his body just wouldn't their body just wouldn't give any more. It just gave up. You got
yeah,
some people who just walk around at the weight and make the weight easily, even though they probably look like they have a bigger frame, but they make the weight easy. Like for example, when I fought Carl Frampton, I weighed lighter than Carl. They actually thought that Carl was struggling with the weight. But remind you, I'm taller, I'm a bigger guy, but
yeah,
I have a nutritionist. I have a nutritionist. I had the right people behind me, and it was an easy weight cut for me. It was even to the point where I still was able to eat a breakfast and everything in the morning of the weigh-in. But again, like I said, everybody is different. That's what I'm trying to basically point out. Everybody is different. Sometimes, like I said, you might see somebody overweight from about 2 ounces or so, but you don't know how much weight they had to lose just to get down there, and their body just completely shut down. So yeah, the 7 pounds or whatever, that's still a lot of weight, especially for a weight class where let's be honest, Amanda, I mean, Alicia hasn't fought it. She's still, you basically got to force her to put on weight. And is it muscle or is it just, what I'm saying, is it whatever? So you got to look at all those factors and things of that nature when it comes down to weight.
What do you think is the best case scenario for both fighters to possibly even make that happen? Because everybody wants to see it. I believe that fight that'll be the highest grossing fight in women's history.
Honestly, I don't know. Like I said, honestly, I'm pretty much over it. Like if I'm just like
Really?
yeah, as a fan, yes, it looks like a fantasy. It looks like a fantasy dream match, but that's all it really is right now. And like you pointed out yourself, that Alicia has plenty of options on the table. Even if she doesn't even get Amanda Serrano, she has the machine behind her to go
Yeah,
out there and get a notable opponent. You know what I mean? So she has the machine behind her. She has a major network behind her. So at the end of the day, Alicia Baumgartner is still in a good position. Like for like Clarissa, it's hard. It's hard to get her opponents because let's
yeah.
be honest, not too many people want that problem on their hands.
Hmm.
And again, the higher you go in the weight classes, the harder it is to find viable opponents for her to face.
Yeah, yeah. I
She pretty
mean,
much she pretty much wiped through all of them as it is that had a name. And when you go through down her resume in the earlier parts of her career, she pretty much went through everybody that was respectable in that nature. And I believe that this is why, in my opinion, this is why she had to go from one division to another. She was jumping divisions just to get a decent opponents.
what was the lowest she ever fought? What was the lowest weight she fought?
I don't know. I think it was in the 50s. I don't know. It was 54. But I know. I think was it the Hannah Gabriel's fight? Was that at 54? Was that like I don't remember. But
I'm
I
not
know.
sure.
But I'm not.
I mean, it's such a it's crazy because it's such a big fight, man. And it would be to me for a lot of fans a disservice if it doesn't happen. And they really got smoked. Like they really got smoked. I don't know where it started from, how it started. They both, you know, they both aggressive. They both don't back down. You know what I
Right.
mean? But I definitely see. I ain't gonna. I definitely. I'm gonna put whatever on it right now. I think she is gonna sign with MVP or some type of co-promotional deal with them. I do believe that, and she kind of hinted at it at one point. Said she had. I think she was talking about a nutritionist and working with a new nutritionist, and she was talking about a fish diet she's on, and she feels better. All this shit. So I do believe she's going to attempt at least that 147 target weight, and I think if she gets there, I think
Who? Clarissa?
yeah, she
Nah,
did.
I don't. I don't think. Nah, I don't think Sis gonna break. Like maybe they can negotiate at 150 in the middle somewhere, but I,
Come
I
on.
don't. I don't
How big
see
of
it
a
for.
girl is
I
Clarissa?
don't see a 47.
Is she that big of a girl?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I,
Yes. Listen. Getting ready for the Olympics, I was sparring her. I was sparring
what?
her. Yeah,
Really?
I was sparring her. She was a middleweight. She was fighting at 165 in the Olympics. You remember, this is over. This is over. This is like damn near 15 years ago now. Like, come on. like, like she was fighting in the Olympics as super middleweight. You know what I mean? So, and she was a kid.
Mm,
She was 16 years old at the time. You trying to get her down to one? This is and then, in women they hold more weight. They can hold more fat than men
yeah,
at
yeah.
that time. So come on, this is a kid at the time. And she was fighting at a super middleweight.
It's crazy because and I follow Clarissa a lot because she's entertaining. She gives me a lot of stuff to work on. I've even seen her say she wants to have a kid within a year. I
That's what
mean,
I'm saying.
these are all things that are gonna. Oh, I mean, and that's one of the reasons I do believe that she will sign with MVP because of.
Listen, if she signed with MVP, I'll tell you right now, the more notable fight she could probably take over there is against Shadisha Green.
Mm,
Think about it. They had words. They got, they're not the best of friends. They have a history together. They've sparred or whatever, help each other train, this and that, and the third. If that's the case, I guarantee you that fight would be the one to be on the table rather than Alicia Bumgarner at a low weight class.
How about the appeal of being on Netflix as well? Because
But
Netflix
that's
is
what I'm saying. But you would have that would be the more sensible thing to go and to fight Sadisha Green and go that route than trying to basically have a Netflix debut and you're cutting down
yeah. No, no,
30,
you're right.
40, 30, 30, 40 pounds as your debut on a network of that play. No, you gotta things like that. You gotta fighters have we have to gradually get down there, and we have to as we gradually get down there, we take fights that are in that ballpark area as we're coming down. We're nobody's gonna just drop 30, 40 pounds off the rip when you're trying to make an impression to maybe a new crowd.
Yeah.
Why?
I'll tell you this right now. Shout out
What's
to
going
my
on?
boy.
What's going on, Christine? Christine, please, you gotta chime. Please, you gotta chime in. Like I'm trying to tell you, that's a big
Christine.
jump.
Christine, do you got
That's a
time to come talk to us? Please.
that's a
This is the
big
link to
jump.
the women's movement. Christine, if you got time, I'm going to email you the link real quick.
I'm
But
just saying, though, bro. I love the idea of it, but that's all it is right now. It's just an idea. I don't see it. Like again, Alicia going into this summer, she's defending super featherweight titles.
yeah,
Clarissa's heavyweight champion of the world. Like, how does it just to put that on paper? How does that even sound right now? You got again, Shadisha Green. The money's right. Probably a Franchon Cruz rematch. You know what I'm saying? They don't got any bad blood, but their styles will mix up for something entertaining. You know what I mean? But like I'm not. Again, it's gonna be a tall order and a tough task. Like
I
she's already changing up her diet. How much y'all want her to lose now?
I just feel like remember. Do you watch wrestling, or did you ever watch wrestling?
Oh yeah, yeah, of course.
Remember when Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior came together? How big of a deal that was? Can you imagine?
Yeah. Was that
Alicia,
WrestleMania? Was that WrestleMania 5 or whatever?
no, but even
Like,
when they made like the announcement that they were gonna
oh,
like they came together, that they were cool. Can you imagine Alicia, uh, Amanda, and Clarissa on the same? You know how powerful that will be. Listen, MVP's cleaning house. They're signing every
listen,
female.
it'd be a cool promo shot, but that's how far it will go. Because, like I said, in wrestling, that looks good. That looks good on the screen, but people want to see results. People still want to see the fights in the end. And out of those three, the closest thing you'll get to a fight is Amanda Serrano and Alicia Bumgarner.
I want to see that. I'm not gonna lie. Alicia versus Amanda
Shout out to
Wood
Omaha. Shout out to Omaha.
on Nebraska. Somebody said they seen you boxing Alan Panduro. Whatever it is. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I think even just as a promotional company and just the outlets that she's gonna have, I think it's a major move. And I would love to see it for the women. I love seeing all these women get signed. I don't think they're gonna stop. They continue. They just signed Chicken. They just signed a bunch of prospects last week. I love the fact that it's an all-female card in Madison Square Garden that's probably gonna sell out. I feel like that this is a statement card for Amanda
Yeah, of
Serrano.
course. It's a statement call for women's boxing as a whole. Like you
Yeah,
just, it's a full women's boxing card in one of the greatest venues, not in America, but the world. You know what I mean? Like who wouldn't want to fight at the Garden? And I believe they're fighting in what I'm saying, the big room. They're not fighting in the theater, they're fighting in the big room. So with that being said, and you've been around long enough to know,
yeah,
promoters don't usually take the big room unless they feel confident enough to put asses in seats.
yeah.
So
No,
that alone should be a statement for the world that if they could pull this off, women can really sell and really, have a voice in boxing. Not just
remember
women's boxing, boxing as a whole.
when that came out that Amanda had 61 million people tuned in. A lot of people were like, oh, it's because Jake was fighting Mike Tyson. They have an opportunity to, even if they come close to it, right? Imagine if they surpass that number. But if they come close to that, it kind of tells you that women's boxing is elite. It's there.
Listen, if they put millions, I don't like they don't if they just put those millions, what I'm saying, in attendance in terms of, from watching at home. That's a win. That's a win for women. That's a win.
Yeah.
That is a win. It's a win. They don't even gotta do. Listen, you don't even gotta do the Jake Paul Tyson numbers. You could just basically just put out some crazy numbers. Period. And I believe that's and especially for a full women's card, and where there's no room for excuses saying, well, this guy was on the card or whatever, so they only tune in for such and such, which is a male for whatever male fighter. If women as a whole could still draw in millions even on Netflix and do reasonable numbers and at the gate with ticket sales, that's a win. That's a win period for women.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people that want to go, and then it's in New York. She's Puerto Rican. It's gonna sell out, bro.
Yeah,
It's gonna sell out. It's gonna be
yeah.
nuts in the building. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie. MVP. I think they're literally going to sign every female available at this point, bro. Their roster's about to be crazy, bro.
Right.
But I want. What do you think about the politics of like maybe like a Gabby Fundora now or not getting fight? Do you think they're gonna try to? Is she gonna be able to get the fight? I think she's the next superstar.
I mean, shout out to Golden Boy. I feel like they're doing a good job with her. Gabby's out there, flatlining her opponents and doing what she got to do. You know what I mean? So like I like Gabby. I like Gabby. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I honestly I think my opinion she's probably more technically sound than her brother. And there's no knock against her brother. She just uses all of her tools. Her reach, her height, stiff jab. Her brother is a good fighter. He just likes to mix it up a little bit too much for my liking instead of using his natural tools. But I think Gabby Fandor is definitely a fundamentally sound fighter, has a bright future. And again, boxing is about entertainment, and we love to see knockouts. And she's stopping her opponent. So you can't ask for more. I mean, maybe over time she's probably going to obviously, of course, move up because of her frame.
Yeah,
You
she's
know,
like 5'9". Yeah.
yeah, she'll move up in time. But again, Golden Boy, they're doing a good job with her, so we can't discredit them on that. Not saying you are, but we got to give them their flowers as well for the way they moved her and position her career to where she's getting all these belts and the way she's winning all these titles as well.
Who do you want to see? How good is she, and who do you want to see her fight?
I don't know. I know my girl, shout out to my girl Marlon Esparza, just took a close loss. So I was actually looking at that type of fight in the future. But
Mhm.
your Costa is there. Like, I mean, there are names that Golden Boy have, on the roster that Gary can still, compete with over there on that side of the street or whatever. And plus, go if you watch the Clapback Thursday, which is hilarious. Shout out to Oscar De La
No,
Hoya.
my
But
favorite.
Oscar said it that he has no issue working with other promotional bodies. He says he's worked with scumbags his whole career. He has no issues working with more scumbags or whatever you may want to call it in terms of the boxing world and business. But I don't like I said, you don't have to exactly be with MVP for the big fights to happen. You know what I mean? What's going on, Christine?
Look, the
Hey
legend.
guys. So
Congratulations. What's up, Christine?
the audio is going to be a little bad because I'm in a hotel. I'm packing
No,
my
you're good. It's
I have
good.
like 30 minutes. Okay. But I had my coffee and I was like, let me watch and see what my guys are up to. So
We're praising the
hello.
ladies. We're praising the
Hey,
ladies.
love y'all both. Y'all been keeping me busy in the past 48 hours, but I
Oh,
love that. I,
we're
I, I
just
need
getting started. We're just
that.
getting started.
So your fight is on the card.
Yes.
Congratulations. There's a
Thank
lot
you.
of women. It looks like Jake and Amanda are following suit, and what they said they were going to do and build the biggest roster of women under a promotional company.
Yes.
I mean, what does it mean to you? What do you think is going on? And give us your take.
Look, I'm ecstatic. I'm so happy. Like I can't even. It's like I'm gonna pinch myself. Um, Chicken and I, and the whole team, we have been just really praying for this day. It's like we heard so many times, and Jamel and I talked about it last night. That nobody wants to see women boxing. That it's dead. There was no money. Promoters were not putting money forth. But I just knew that could not be true. Somebody had to take a chance.
Mhm.
And Jake Paul took that chance. And look what happened. I mean, Amanda, he said whenever she steps on the canvas, fight night, she is going to be the highest paid female in
And
all
that's cool,
sports,
man.
period. You know, he took a risk. You can't tell me he was the only one willing to, but obviously he was.
He
He was
was.
happy.
Mhm.
So happy.
I mean, remember, Amanda said before him, like her highest payday was like, I think it was below like six figures or something. It was bad. Like it was not high.
I'm even embarrassed to say what Chicken has made, and some of my other girls in the past have made. I'm embarrassed. Trust me, it's
I mean,
embarrassing.
It's wild, but and that's why I feel like this fight is really this means a lot more to women's boxing than I think any event ever because there was a lot of criticism when she
Hmm.
fought Katie Taylor, and a lot of people try to take it away. Like, oh no, it's because of Mike Tyson. That's why so
Hmm.
many people
Hmm.
tuned in. And I feel like there's a lot of pressure on this card. And then to double down, they make it an all-female card.
I
And say,
know.
screw the guys.
I'm gonna say this. I don't think it's a lot of pressure.
You think so?
My opinion. No, hell no, because again, some people were saying that mess that you just brought up out of envy or jealousy. Let's be honest. Let's keep it real.
Okay.
Like I said, Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor, they put on um no disrespect to Jake. I love Mike Tyson. We all grew up watching
Right.
Tyson, but we knew
Right.
most of us pretty much knew how that was going to play out.
Exactly.
I put a video out. They actually put a video out with my prediction. I said with everything going on with the 16-ounce gloves and the 2 minute, it was a sparring session. But I knew Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano was the real fight because they're really tuned into. And you got to understand, why do you think some of these promoters put those type of fights on their card? Because it helps sell and bring in viewership. I don't care what you say. You're always gonna have a good co-host, and that co-feature was definitely that co-host of the show. So
Yeah.
I really don't feed into that. Like they people use that as an excuse, but I'm glad that they went with an all-female card because let's be
Me too.
honest. Let's be honest though, promoters at the end of the day, yes, they take risks, but it's all calculated. I don't think they would do an all female card if they wasn't confident enough
Yeah.
to know that women will be the flagship to sell the show. So I don't like I said I never really fell for it. Like I said again, I
Yeah.
know a
Me.
lot of people that spoke more and speak more now on the Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor second fight than they do of the Jake Paul and Tyson fight to till this day.
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely. That is one those that duo is one of the biggest fights of all time. I mean, them
Right.
two. I
Right,
mean,
and another thing though, Christine, why think they're doing it 3 times? Like somebody just
exactly.
said yesterday on the during the press conference, it's rare to see a trilogy when somebody's up 2-0. And
Yeah.
that's true, but especially even
True.
for men. It's even
It's
for
true.
men. If you win the first fight in the rematch, there's usually never a trilogy. But
Yeah.
again, that fight those two fights did so well. Even if Katie Taylor on paper is 2-0, they know it still has people still chiming in, still speaking about it, still seeing that both fights could have went either way and so forth. So and then they're taking a fight that's 2-0 in Katie Taylor's favor, and then they're doing a trilogy and as a main event and then headlining it for all female card. That should tell you right there, like they like
And
numbers don't lie. They
can
know what it
I say
is.
this too? Can I say this too? Because I've said this many, many times. The promoters are not doing their job. They're not doing what they've done in the past, promoting their fighters.
mhm.
Jake Paul has promoted his women. With he and Amanda have promoted the shit out of their women. Okay. He is doing what all promoters, I believe, should be doing.
Mhm.
There are some better than others, but you see, yes, they're on social media. Yes, they're doing this and that, but for the most part, they're doing all the work. They're doing the work to promote their people, and that's how it should be. So hats off to him for that too.
You
And
know,
Amanda.
it's crazy though too. Like, and I want you guys to rank the trilogies of all time. Is this the
Oh, come
best
on.
trilogy ever? And not to mention, I want to say this: this trilogy is more anticipated than Bivol versus Better Beef, in my opinion.
Hey,
And I
hey,
think that's telling.
seems as though.
What do you think,
Seems as
Jamel?
though.
I don't know because I'm thinking about all the trilogies now. I'm like, we'll be here all day. Like, so like, but again,
No,
it's definitely up there. It's definitely up there in terms of for the entertainment value. But again, it's hard to rank it. But it's definitely one that deserves is praise and notability for sure.
absolutely.
The last great trilogy I remember was Ward and Gotti, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, we still have Pacquiao.
See, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. You got so many in between. Just from that time to now, you still
Yeah.
got so many in between. It's hard. It's
But
hard to rank them. But again, for women's boxing, whatever you may want to say,
the best.
that's probably one. That's definitely probably one of the greatest. Because again, I rarely. I mean, I can't really. If I'm being honest, I can't really say how many trilogies I've seen just from our female fighters alone. And
but
then
with
on top of that, and on top of that, you're ranking them with the men. So that says a lot right there. You're
Yeah.
ranking it with the men, the great. So that in his own right gives it a lot of praise. Where you're taking a women's boxing event and you're ranking it with some of the great trilogies that put
Yeah.
one or both individuals into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, exactly.
Christine, how much does it mean to you? Because you're always fighting for the women, Chicken, and all the other girls that are on the card and they're getting treated like superstars. Like I'm watching
I
Chicken
love it.
pictures with Jake. She's getting her own stuff. Like
Yeah.
Russell I was like, wow, this is everyone's being treated like if they're Amanda Serrano, and I
Like
thought that was
queens.
awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I actually talked to her a second ago, and I was like, she was about to go to a photo shoot, and I'm like, enjoy this. Enjoy this. You deserve this. She fucking deserves this, and they treated her from royalty from the moment that she stepped off the plane until the moment she leaves on Friday. Like, he's doing it. And I really, really appreciate it because they're valuable and they need to know that they are. I think the only complaint that people had was that they didn't get to hear more from the undercard, at the
Right.
press.
That's it for me too. That's it for me. I would have loved to hear it from the undercard. I would have loved to see every woman have a voice. But I'm pretty sure, how fight week goes, they have
Yeah,
another press conference. I'm pretty sure we'll hear from everybody then on their journey throughout the camp and everything. But yeah, that's the only negative thing I probably could say is that I would have loved to hear from every new signee as well
right.
who's
Yeah.
fighting on that card to speak their mind.
Yeah, same. But other than that, it's been great, So I want to ask you a question, Orbs, because Jamel and I talked about this last night. A lot of people were talking about, when Amanda went out there with the headgear, a lot of people were like, okay, that's like cool, that's great, that's petty. Others were like, she looks stupid. What were your thoughts on that?
I thought it was a book out of a Jake Paul movie, like a Jake Paul blog. Like that's not Amanda. Amanda's not very, snappy. She's very professional. Like even with the message she sent to Clarissa Shields, we'd love to have you. You're the GOAT, calling her the GOAT. She's very first class, and she doesn't need to do any of those things to sell the fight. To be honest with you, like this is gonna sell, but it did surprise me she did it. I thought it was okay, but it wasn't Amanda Serrano for me.
We have a theory, Jamel. What's the theory?
Or is she
I
putting?
know, Christine. Because okay, I respect what you're saying, but it's in that circle in that camp that they're clearly trying to take a jab and a dig, of course, at the head butting. But as a fighter, you can't sit there and tell me that going into the third fight that the head butting or whatever may be on your mind or whatever may not be on your mind. You can't tell me it's not. You can't tell me it's not. You can't tell me it's not, bro.
Absolutely, yeah.
Why would they do it? Whose idea? You can say Jake Paul, but whose idea was? Oh, she headbutted a lot. This is something we got to look out for in the third fight. No, you just focus on whatever is in front of you and go
Don't
from
give
there.
Katie nothing. Give Katie nothing. Because now Katie's like, oh, that's going to be in her mind. That's going to mess with her.
Yeah. You think? Listen, no, you've been around this for a long time. You think when fighters is always complaining about Bernard Hopkins roughing you up with all the headbutts and elbows and everything. Did it throw those guys up, or did they go out there and bother you more mentally and rough you up some more to get you out of your fight game? And they did whatever they wanted. Bernard Hopkins was a mess at that. If he got under your skin, he did whatever he wanted with you afterwards.
But how about this? Maybe they want to make it such an issue that going into fight night, the referee can't avoid thinking about it. And they put more emphasis on it. Maybe that's also part of the plan to make it to where it's in the referee's head.
And that's cool though, but how many times is the referee going to catch supposedly accidental or intentional moves and tactics though?
Think about it. We got to think about it. When you go back and look at the fight, look, Katie's a lot smaller, shorter than Amanda. Okay, and her defense is tight when she's in there. So if Amanda's coming over her, she's going to get headbutt. She is. Amanda does sometimes lean in, and her defense is not the best. As much as I love her, and she is amazing, her defense is not the best.
No.
Stands tall. Sometimes, when she's looking to throw those bombs, she'll walk directly in. So of course somebody was just up at times, and that's what causes those accidental headbutts. You gotta
intentional. You know, we've seen intentional. That's not intentional.
Oh yeah. We seen the Victor Ortiz of the world intentional. Shout out to Victor, man, but we seen intentional, yo.
Yeah, that was one of the weirdest nights I've ever witnessed in boxing. But I got a question for you, Christine, since you got questions for me, all right?
Yeah.
I asked this to Jamel. You know, not Alicia. Claressa responded to our post yesterday that me and Jamel had yesterday about her joining MVP with a no. It was like a GIF or whatever you call it. It's a GIF,
It was Bugs Bunny. No, it was a long no.
right? Amanda Serrano, I think, is courting her at this point. I think they're going to bring her in. How big of a deal would it be for you as a woman, being in the sport over 20-something years, to see Alicia, possibly Claressa, and Amanda together in a powerful situation, coming together and possibly making this work? How big of a deal would it be for you as a woman?
It would definitely be a power move, but like I said last night, because Jamel and I talked about it too, Claressa has always been a boss. She does exactly what she wants to do. Mm-hmm. So if she does decide to do this, it's going to be on her terms. Mm-hmm. She's not going to just, agree to it because, I'm going to be under the umbrella too and be giddy like all the, which the girls should be giddy. They should be happy, but that's not her. That's not who she is. So if it does happen, it'll be her choice. It'll be on her own terms. And it'll be huge. But you know what? If she doesn't do it, she's still huge. So the girl can play either side and she can do what she wants to do. But would I like to see it? Man, that would be amazing. And everything that they're doing right now, we need it. We need it.
And it's funny because
no, Norbs. Now ask her the other question. Ask her the other question about if she comes in MVP. What would likely be the more likely fight? Would it be as a trainer, Christine? Would it be somebody close to her weight class like a Shadisha Green, or for her making her first impression? Is she gonna drain and shrink down to 147, 150, and 150? I don't see that happening. You gotta be like that. When you come into a brand, you want to make your first impressions are always your best impression. So of course, I feel like, and as a trainer right here, coaches and fighters, when we're coming down somewhere, we make road stops. You know what I'm saying? Road stops to be like, okay, let me take a fight here and see how my body feels. Okay, let me take a fight here. Okay, I felt good there. Let me go down here. Let me see how my body. We're not gonna just go from 80 to.
How did the weight cut affect me? No, Shadisha Green, obviously, and they've had some beef. We've seen it back.
That's what I said. There's a story there. There's already a story there.
They got to resurrect the story. They got to get people interested again. That's the fight. Because first of all, why would Claressa even think about meeting somewhere with Alicia? Alicia's going to have to come up. I'm just saying.
Is she still competing? Isn't she defending her title at 130?
Exactly.
This is, like I said, super featherweight, heavyweight. Super featherweight, heavyweight. Like that's crazy.
Hey, let Tierra Brown have her because Tierra Brown already said she wants Amanda and she wants Alicia Baumgartner.
Oh, there's a lot of smoke. There's a lot of. I love this.
And that's nothing. Christina was saying, and there's no disrespect to Claressa, but at least for Alicia, she doesn't need that fight. She has a lot of names on the table and available around that weight class. It's like I said for my girl Claressa, you can't tell us that she wasn't fighting at these different weight classes because she wanted to. Is that she had to because the names and the names in those weight classes already aren't that many. People, me and Christine see it all the time. You see it too. They go to box, right? They be like, "Oh, there's only 14 individuals in this weight class." Yeah. You gotta take what you have. And in Claressa's case, there's not a lot. There's not a full stack of names that you see in men's boxing in those divisions that you see for women. And most of the women's weight classes are because women in their natural build, they're usually lighter. So of course you're gonna have more opponents in names at those lighter weight classes that Alicia Baumgartner has.
Right. That's very true. That's very true. And I want to see them, somehow work out something with Tierra's promoter. What is it? OT. Oh my gosh, I just went
OTX.
Yes. Work something out there because you know what? Hey, They got some.
And Christine, I believe they can. I believe they can, Christine. I believe they can. We just seen like you had Juju on last night. Who would he have? OTX and
OTX.
Top. And right now we're in a world where, let's be real, Turkey Alex Sheik is making people
Yes.
come together
Yes.
to make these big fights. So I believe that OTX would definitely. I mean, OTX they seem comfortable working with Tyreek. I don't see why they wouldn't be comfortable working with
Yeah.
MVP.
He demanded it. He demanded, you know what? Why do I have to pick one? I want two. You know, pick two. They came together. So let's do it again with Tierra, OTX, and MVP. Like, the girls are there and they need her belts, right?
You know what's
I mean,
crazy?
Tierra did it with Sky in terms of promotion.
Sure did.
You know what's crazy? When it comes to women's sport, there was a stat that came out that women's sports generated $3.2 billion this year. WNBA with Caitlin Clark and I always forget her name. Jesus Christ. I call her the Claressa Shields of basketball. What's her name? Whatever her name is. But women's sports is going crazy right now. And now we're starting to see it. But I'm not gonna lie, I still want to see in a world that we could get Alicia and Claressa. Just because I mean, look at this video. Look at this beautiful woman.
Main decision on signing with them.
My main
Why couldn't they make the
decision was
Claressa House
being
face team?
respected, being valued, having a voice. I'm not just a fighter under a roster. I'm a pioneer for the sport of boxing, and they saw my vision, and I love that, and they got to hear me out. And this is the biggest turning point of my career. You're going to see amazing fights. You're going to see the most of Alicia, the Baumgartner, and MVP is going to put that on the biggest stage.
In terms of Amanda, you mentioned, we will see. Is that the same for Claressa, or is that when
Look at her face, I changed.
What's the question?
In terms of you and
Claressa Shields?
Yeah.
I think Claressa Shields is walking around like at 190 right now, right?
Totally out of the question.
Yeah.
And Alicia's walking around at 132, 133.
Pause it right there. Pause it. That's it. That's it. Pause it right there. 190 even, and we've seen Claressa shot back at that, so that struck a nerve there somewhere. She struck. She said something last night about that, and she laughed at the notion of her being at 190. I think she's about like in her 170s or whatever, but still, that's 30, 40. Come on, man.
Hey,
And look, the manager already shut it down. The manager, the one that had to negotiate, he's shutting it down.
Hey, Jamel, listen to this. So the first thing that Norb says, so he puts on this video because he said he wants to see Claressa and Alicia. And first thing he says is, man, look at that beautiful face. And I'm thinking, instead of saying, man, the bitch can fight, man, the girl's tough, she could give Claressa some work because she is so talented.
He's looking for promo.
Look at her beautiful face.
He's looking for promo. He's looking toward the promo of it. The more Alicia on it, the more for him, the better for him.
That's the problem right there.
No, but look at that. I mean,
right
no, I did point out that she's a beautiful woman, but
did you point out her skills? Tell me about her skills.
Christine is not a big fan of Alicia. But hold on.
I'm not a fan. I'm just saying.
But her face changes up when Claressa's name comes up. You ever seen when a female hears a name that she does not like, immediately it triggers. It triggers.
Yeah.
And Alicia and Claressa, for some strange reason, is made for TV. I'm sorry. I don't know. They got to figure
the most of the entertainment that we get from them is when they have their little back and forth on social media or they run into each other at an event. That's the most entertainment we're going to get from them. I do not see no fight in the foreseeable future. But again, I can see Claressa going to MVP, but it won't be in front of Alicia Baumgartner fight. I think me personally, I think her management team will steer her clear away from that because there's still big money to make, but there's in a safer route. She can like Tierra Brown, the Amanda Serrano, or Katie Taylor. There's still a lot of names in that area that can make just as much money and be entertaining, but be safer for not only her but for her body in terms of going and shooting up weight classes. Because she's gonna have like Christine said, she's gonna have to shoot up. And will it be muscle or will it just be weight that make you sluggish and you're just carrying around weight because you wanna enter a weight class?
This is dope. This is dope just to hear us talk about females in sports, man. This is really good. I'm not gonna lie. They're talking about Natalie No Love Dove is the future of female boxing. I think she signed over to MVP as well, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I know she just got signed. I'm not sure exactly where, but I did see something
right.
about
I mean, it's definitely gonna be dope.
But like you said, it's dope that we spent nearly an hour just speaking on women
Yeah.
solely. So shout out to the women of boxing that's doing their thing today. And again, and I also to give my love and appreciation for the pioneers way before them that
Yeah.
made it possible for women to have a platform today.
Well, I'm glad Christine is going to be a part of the event because she's going to be in the corner of Chicken.
I might have to show up too. I might have to show up to show everybody support.
I'm trying. I'll even do a job. Can I put the ice pack on the head or something? I just want to be at the fight, Christine. Do something. I mean,
I carry the spit bucket.
Yeah.
Just give me a corner jacket. I'll be there.
I mean, what are you guys doing? I mean, how big of this is for Chicken right now? Because I know this is the debut. There's going to be a lot of people watching.
I mean, it's huge. I mean, we're already talking. You know, we have a plan for when she gets back in town. She comes back in Friday. We already have everything together. We're working on the training schedule and things that we're working on. Obviously, there's not a lot of film on Thorson, but honestly, we've been looking at Thorson for a while because we knew that eventually we were going to take everything from her that shines. So that's what we're doing. We're in the lab. We're working. She's got a great team behind her. It's myself, my husband, my younger son. She also has she works at another gym. She does personal training, and one of the guys there also works with her while she's there working. So she's got a great team behind her. But she and I spend a lot of time together. We're not only, is it a coach, fighter relationship, but Jamel knows you get very close and we're family, and we're with each other a lot at a personal level too. So I make sure she's on it. But honestly, she doesn't mess up. She does what she needs to do. She wants this. She's hungry. She's had to claw her way up, and she's not going to let it pass her by.
I'm excited. I did want to see her versus Ebony Bridges, but that's not happening. But
I mean, we don't need her.
That's what I mean. That's where we are. Hey.
If she just wants to get in there and get her butt whooped just for the fun of it, I mean, we
I love it. Christine talks so.
I don't know. Like I said, Ebony got other things to worry about. Shout out to her and Kell Brook, but she got other things. Congrats to that. You know what I'm saying? But again, Christine can tell you most as a mother that definitely changes a lot in your you know what I'm saying, just in your schedule or anything when you come up. So shout out to Ebony and what I'm saying, her and Kell Brook. I hope things are going well over there. But yeah, like I said, I forgot all about that fight. I forgot all about that fight.
You gotta keep that OnlyFans spicy. I mean, she's giving away.
The shots.
So I need everybody to go and subscribe because she is a mother now and she needs subscribers. So let's go. Let's get it going. Let's support these.
I don't know if the chocolate brownie is going to approve the OnlyFans much too longer. I know I would.
Crazy, bro.
I don't know if Kell Brook and the chocolate brownie is going to approve of that much longer, but whatever.
Expensive. Formula is expensive. Trust me. And Pampers.
It is.
Oh, yeah. Yo, I tell you, I love when Christine is like competitive and she wants to like yoke somebody out. Like I love it.
But you gotta think about it. Why should they entertain that when Ebony for the longest was ignoring Chicken? So it's basically how Errol feels about Keith Thurman. Mm-hmm. When Keith tried to come back along and get a fight with Errol was like, nah, you wouldn't even entertain the idea of us fighting. Now that I'm the man, you wanna. So it's the same thing. It's a Dallas thing, I guess. If you put it that way, it's a Dallas thing. They don't listen. You shade me, I'm gonna give you the same energy back.
That's right.
Yeah, and now Chicken is on the biggest women's promotional company in the world. So
exactly.
But I mean, I just love their little back and forth. Christine, look how red she gets. It's amazing.
It's a coffee.
It's crazy. Let's move on from women real quick. Let's move on to Jake Paul real quick. This came out yesterday.
Okay.
Spoke on
to it with you and Tank actually being a thing. Was that something that was talked about?
Yeah, no, it was highly talked about and in negotiations and almost ready to make happen, but he has to do his rematch with Lamont and get that W, and then we'll be able to run it back. But me and Gervonta were scheduled to fight for sure.
Nice. Thank you. Now,
hearing that, right? And then hearing Gervonta's presser afterwards, where he kind of was like, Well, I don't mind fighting Lamont again, but it'll be the fourth fight. Uh, I mean, what's your reaction to all that? Like, I don't want to see Tank and Jake, to be honest with you. But I mean, what would your take on that mentally? Where do you think Gervonta is?
What are you asking?
So what I'm asking is, like, when after the Lamont fight, he
No, no,
kind
I said who you asking that question to? Because I think I have an
Jamal,
answer
you
for it.
first, you first, you
Let's
first.
go, Jamel.
I look at it like this. Like you said, for one, there's a size. Not saying that Tank can't hold his own, but again, what I mean by that is he pretty much had a tough fight with a guy that's considered at a lower weight class.
Yeah,
So it'll be a hard sell for him to even as the exhibition, whatever you want to call it, sparring session, whatever. It'll be a hard sell for him to even face a guy like a Jake Paul, because if you look at it, people will kind of diminish that aura that Tank may have around it. Even if going into that type of event after what we just seen with him and Lamont Roach, and plus the way he looked against Lamont and how Lamont looked is all about promoting and selling. That'll be a tough sell. You know what I mean? That'll be a tough sell, not just because of the draw, just how it looked and how it played out. And let's be honest, you still got a lot of people questioning, thinking, and saying that he feel as Lamont should have got the victory. So
yeah,
you can't move forward and try to sell that him fighting a heavyweight and Jake Paul, whatever he may whatever weight class Jake come down to, whatever is going to be a good sell for the people, because you won't get many. You probably won't even get many hardcore fans to even try to entertain that or even defend that going forward.
Yeah,
He has to
yeah.
handle. He got to take care of business with Lamont first before anything. And when you take care of business, you got to do it decisively. And you know what I mean. You got to really stand out. That okay, maybe the last fight went this way, but I'm still that guy.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Lamont definitely foiled those plans. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Jake Paul is a genius. Okay. He knows how to make money. He knows what sells. He knows what's going to put the butts in seats. So had Tank won, in a very convincing way, then it would have been on. That would have been like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, Jake Paul and Tank. Tank is going to whoop Jake Paul, or Jake Paul is going. The fans of Jake Paul. Oh, he's going to squish, the face of boxing, smash and whatever. But Roach foiled the plans. So yeah, Jake is going to backpedal. Why would he want to make it now? It's not going to make money, and nobody cares.
Right.
Realistically, some have said that Canelo carried some of his last opponents.
Mhm.
That's what they say, rumored. I don't think so. But Jake would have there has to be a deal for them. They want to both make the most amount of money that they can. And if the fight would have happened, he's gonna let the face of boxing, do his thing. But Jake's gonna also have to prove he's a boxer. So, but I don't think it would have been all out, what it would be if it was against somebody else. But the plans are foiled. He started calling out AJ right after the fight. Jake Paul did.
Yeah, he was joking. There was no way he was going to fight AJ. I feel like,
No.
from a mental standpoint, it kind of shows you where Tank was after that fight. And I've seen rumors about financial stuff and taxes and stuff like that. And maybe he just wanted that bigger payday. They were saying that they didn't want to pay him the amount he wanted when he fought Roach. There was rumors of that stuff, but it did surprise me, his reaction afterwards. Because he was contemplating retirement after this year and kind of put it to the back burner. And more likely than not, there's probably going to be a rematch clause in this fight to make it a trilogy. So
Yeah.
to me, I'm kind of like, I looked at it like, does he still want to box? Because you take a Jake Paul fight when you're on the way out, and that's why I kind of was wondering with Gervonta and his unwillingness to fight the best fighters, in my opinion. I mean, does he continue to box after 2025?
Who knows? I feel like the outcome solely depends on how it looks in June. In June, in
Yeah.
my opinion, if he still has like I told Juju last night with Christine, always keep that hunger. If you're gonna stick around in boxing is a poor man's sport, so you always got to keep that hunger. But if you
100.
have one foot out the door, it's there's no need for it anymore.
That's true. That is very true. And if you thinking about it too much about more about like what social media is going to say, what so-and-so's saying, what is somebody going to think, and you're not focusing on the task in hand, you can really get hurt. You got to focus on who's in front of you and what you're going to do to that person and how you're going to beat them, you know. And you also have to have the right team around you. The thing is, right now, there's a little bit of chaos, you know, from what we see in the last fight in his team. So you got to straighten all that out.
Yeah, I mean, I think also, and Lamont would be stupid not to have a rematch, an automatic rematch in this fight for a third. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't think, but let's be honest. Do you think that Lamont is really going to be fully in the driver's seat with negotiations in this fight? You can see you already see that he said that they had stipulations for this, that, and the third. And, let's be honest, this is boxing. We know how the business goes.
Yeah.
Even though it was a close fight over, you probably still have Tank as the A side. So of course,
Oh,
if Lamont even wants to get the rematch, you're gonna, I'm pretty sure there's still gonna be stipulations. Well, this is what it is.
Yeah.
One, because I think Lamont had pointed out in the first one round, basically if Lamont would have won, that would have caused the rematch. But if it went the other way around, Tank would have went on his way and went to the next, like the Jake Paul situation. So, but I think in this situation, like Tank was pretty much forced into taking the rematch, with Lamont. So, that's the only reason why he's probably even entertaining the idea of a rematch. But other than that, I don't think Lamont or his team has all the say in the world to put those stipulations in the contract where if it's another close fight or if Tank wins, that there's going to be a part three. I think Tank wants to be one and done with it, over with it, and move on to the next or whatever.
No,
Hey, I gotta interject real fast. I love you guys. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get on the road and get home. Thank you for allowing me to come on. It's always a pleasure, and I will see y'all. See Norbs tomorrow morning. Jamel, I'll see you, and I'll see you next week on Just Lunch, and I'll talk to y'all soon.
Remember,
all right, take care. Be safe.
I can hold the ice for the fight. Keep it cold. Just let me know.
I'll think about it. Bye.
All right, good to see you.
I mean, I was gonna say, just to add to what you were saying, I think he gained a little bit of leverage in the fight because nobody wants to see anything else but that. But you're probably right. I mean,
I think that leverage is maybe, well, of course, honestly, a bigger purse. But in terms of what happens after the fight, shout out to Lamont. He showed me love. I showed him love. It's the same. Give them the same respect. But as a fighter in this business, I'm pretty sure he could tell you that there's going to be some stipulations that are not solely in his favor.
No, you're right. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know why they haven't announced it yet for June 21st. I mean, that's supposedly the date for it. I'll be in Florida for that.
Mind games. We've seen before in the past. Remember the first fight? Tank put out a tweet. Oh, the fight's not happening, and Lamont was like, "I don't know what he's talking about. I'm still in the gym." Yada yada yada.
Yeah, he did.
So again, it could be, like I said, it could be that A side mentality, just playing, just dragging it out as much as you possibly can. So that's just how it goes. But again, the fight, I'm 90% sure the fight's happening.
June 20th, I'm with it. Now, there's another fighter that people have been killing on the internet that I personally really like, but we don't know where he's going or what direction he's going. And this is his trainer, his father, Bonzi Ellis.
You're entertained? But I ain't even worrying about talking about him right now. You know what I mean? I don't even want to put the light on him right now because they do enough talking themselves. You know what I mean? So, but they know the truth. You know what I mean? Just like when they was offered so much amount of money and turned it down, 750, 1.5, 1.7. And when you fought what's that boy Centennial, you got 100-something thousand, and you talking about there wasn't enough money that what you call him, Eddie offered you was enough money. Oh shit! You only made 100-something thousand. Now somebody offer you 750,000. I got to pay Bob. You got to pay this. Yeah, but you don't have enough money left. You know what I mean? So with the same thing when you had the 100-something thousand. You know what I mean? Then when you offer 1.5, you can walk away with a nice piece of money. You know what I mean? So don't use that for an excuse. Then the last one they offered was 1.7. You know what I mean? So come on, man. If you really wanted to fight, you should have took the fight. Now you're getting exposed now. What I mean by exposure, y'all living off of Boots. Call them Boots name out and all that, and then when it come down to it, Y'all ain't signing to fight nobody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't even like addressing them at all, man.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Jamel, I'll let you with this one. What do you think about that?
I mean, listen, I spoke with Norman about this a few months ago. I asked about that. I heard him out, but I can't argue with Boost's father on that. Like at the end of the day, when you like this, my opinion, when you break it all down, when you start divvying up that money from 1.7, you still have a good chunk of change than you getting a
Yeah.
hundred and something thousand or whatever, for whoever he did make. So again, it makes you wonder. But like I said, I've spoken this plenty of times in the past, but I'm not mad at Boost's father for the way he feels and like it's like he just pointed out, like why are we still talking about this when we made an offer, they didn't take the offer. It is what it is. They went over here and they took less money. So that right there is what the people basically decide on.
And it sucks because that's the fight everybody wants to see at 147, right? We want to see Boots be great. And I think that's the big thing in the situation. Boots has had the homecoming. They've tried to make him a superstar, and he's kind of regressed in a sense. And people have been questioning, is he as good as advertised? And is he going to go to 154? Is he going to stay at 147 and unify? I mean, there's a lot of questions around Boots that need to be answered.
I'll say this though, I don't think he regressed. I think like his last opponent, he gave him problems twice. Not where he struggled in terms of winning, but it was just a style matchup. It was just a style matchup for Boots that was just like that make it look. And when we seen Boots get hit more than more than we normally have. But again, you also got to break down Boots' resume too. So I can agree with you saying in terms of who he was fighting up until he got to that point where he's at as a champion.
Let me switch it. He didn't meet expectation. He's supposed to be a superstar. They want him to be the next star, and he has not met that by the standards of what a superstar is supposed to be. Whatever. And then he didn't take the Virgil Ortiz fight. He did take the Virgil Ortiz fight. We don't know. What is it right now? What does Boots have to do? Does he have to fight Brian Norman to get some of that respect back?
I think if he wins this title, 'cause he is in a unification, so he did get in a unification matchup with Stanionis or whatever. So he is in a unification, so that definitely, if he wins this fight, that definitely raises his status, especially as the man in the welterweight division, which is one of the premier weight classes in boxing. So with that being said, I think his stock raises, but he has more. He definitely has more. Again, more leverage at the table for that Norman fight. If you really have to put that on, Brian and his team. You know what I mean? Afterwards, if Boots goes in there and looks spectacular and becomes unified champion, he's the man in the driver's seat. At the same time, I've seen pictures floating around, people saying that Boots looks drained at 147. So I don't think he has a lot time left over as a 147 pounder, because again, there's a reason why he even entertained fighting Victor in the first place, because the weight it's got to be the weight. But who knows?
Virgil.
I mean, yeah, I'm sorry, Virgil.
At least I messed up. At least you messed up this time. Not
yeah,
me.
My bad.
I mean, I'll tell you this right now. I love him. I love Boots. I love his skill set. I think he's really talented. And I've heard the same rumors about the weight having a problem.
Right.
I don't know how successful he'll be at 154, though. I think 154 is killer right now, bro. Like they have literal people created in a lab.
But that's what makes it great. I mean, we're used to talking about the 147 being a division, but right now 154 is that division that has everybody. And again, he could probably potentially even come back to the idea of fighting whatever Bud wants to do after Canelo, with that matchup as well. So there's definitely a lot of names at 154 that are probably more lucrative and more exciting for people to engage with than right now at 147 anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he's got the toughest road out of anybody coming up, because there's a lot of expectation on Boots. 154 is crazy to go up there. I don't know how successful it'll be. And again, does he stay at 147 and wait for T.O. to come up, Ryan come up to get those big high-profile fights, or does he go to 154, which may not have the high-profile fights, but the competition is steeper? I feel like Boots is in a really tough situation. So I don't know, man, but I definitely want to see him unify at 147. I think he's a star, man. I hope I hope he gets the big fights that he wants. But I mean, I feel like out of all the fighters that are supposed to be them, I feel like he has the toughest challenge right now. This is how I feel.
It is what it is.
Yeah,
It
but
is what it is. This is boxing. Let's see.
you know,
It's all about how you handle adversity. So all we can do is sit back and wait.
yeah. Well, on that note, man, I'm about to hop off. I know you got your day to go. I'm gonna be on tonight again at 8.
Just hit me up.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, I got Scully. I know Scully's really pissed off about them handing off that belt to Benavidez. He's not very happy about that. You know what I mean? I don't understand how that works, but that's just me.
It's politics as usual. You know how it goes. Come on.
But we'll talk about that later tonight. We'll have some fun
Exactly. Let's say that. Let's say that for later, man.
All right, Jamal. I'm gonna holler at you, my brother.
All right, bro.
All right. That was my man Jamel Herring. That's my guy. You know what I mean? We worked it. We'll be on later tonight with Iceman Scully at 8 p.m. Continue to drop some hot shit for you guys. It's your boy Norbs, and we are out of here. I gotta go feed these kids. End the stream. Hold on.